Hi, you guys. I have a very special guest today. So excited to share her with you. So let's get started. All right, guys, get ready for a special treat today. Today I'm interviewing my lovely daughter, Bella, who is one of my high school graduates. Mm-hmm. Well, not high school graduate. I guess I shall just say graduate. We'll kind of get into that. So this is my daughter, Bella. And I was going to do an episode with her and my son Porter, who both just graduated. And Porter and I are having a real hard time finding a time to meet. He would like to do it late at night, and I go to bed way early, or he's taking a nap, or then I've taken a nap. So we just weren't making it work. And he is headed out of town to go do a special trip with my husband with Puerto Rico. To celebrate him graduating. So I just thought, you know what, we'll just do Bella. We love Porter and we think he's great. And I know some of the answers to his questions, so maybe we'll just kind of answer those. Okay, Bella, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, so I'm Bella. I'm 16. I just graduated a couple weeks ago, and I absolutely love to sing and perform. I'm in a show right now, and I'm in a band, so super fun.
She's the oldest girl. Mm-hmm. In a house full of mostly boys.
Mm-hmm.
If you actually go to old YouTube videos, you'll see Bella and me singing the Central and South America song.
Some good stuff like that.
Yeah. I think there's one of her and Porter and Tess singing
when we're
the
way
states
little.
And the capitals. But I gotta say this right now. Porter's nickname is Tico. And most of the time I call him Tico. So if you hear me changing between Porter and Tico, please know it is the same person. This is a common error that people think it is two different people. So sorry that I am not consistent, but yes. So anyways, you'll see Tico in that video as well. He has a sweet hat and lots of hair. Okay, Bella, so tell us about what was your school experience?
So I did about a year and a month of preschool and then been homeschooling ever since. And then we've tried a couple different online schools, but mostly I was an at-home learner and just did a lot of stuff with my mom.
Yeah. And so Bella, there is a program in Utah called My Tech High, and we ended up putting Bella in it in her 10th grade year, I have to think, because like most other homeschoolers, I don't know what grade my children are in. So we had her try, did we do a full 9th grade year of online school?
Yeah, we did.
And she did not like that. She did not like that at all. So we decided to try My Tech High, and she decided to do college. So through My Tech High, they have a program that you get your degree through Southern New Hampshire University. So Bella, her whole 10th grade year, did that, and then COVID hit, I guess, towards the end of your 10th grade year. Yeah. And so she decided to keep doing school through summer. Her original plan was to get your bachelor's.
Yeah.
But she changed it. So that's the great thing about homeschooling is that you can just change. So Bella just got her associates last month in April. Mm-hmm. Okay, so tell us that process of doing college.
Yeah, so basically we stopped doing the online school because it just wasn't for me. And then we started the new college, and it made a lot more sense to me. So I was able to kind of bust through and get it done. And then with the help of like my older brother, because he did the program with me, Tico, I was able to kind of just get through it. And so, yeah, it was a really fun process, actually.
Yes. So Bella is only 16. She is a summer birthday, so it makes her sound really cool. I always say that, like, when she's older, when you play the game Two Truths and a Lie, I said, you can put your high school dropout, and you got your associates at 16. And those are two truths. That's fun. She's way awesome. So what a lot of people now ask, well, what's Bella going to do now because she is so young?
Yeah, so originally what I was going to do is go to UVU in the fall.
That's Utah Valley University here, a local college.
Oh, yeah.
That's okay.
So I was going to go there and then try to get like a bachelor's, like a 2-year program. And then they're kind of being weird with COVID right now. And so I decided just because I am so young that I'm going to take a little bit of a break from school and kind of just pursue some hobbies and stuff this next year.
And those hobbies are?
Singing and performing and stuff like that.
Yes. So she's in a play right now, Thoroughly Modern Millie. And she's maybe going to try out for more plays and maybe even audition for plays where she gets paid instead of paying. So that's exciting. She works a lot. She works at In-N-Out.
Oh, yeah. Good times.
She loves it. Just kidding. I don't know. She's a good worker. Okay. Let's dive in. Oh, I will say an update for Tico, what he's planning on doing too. So this really would have been his senior year. And he turned 18 in April. So he's been getting his mortgage license, and he's going to work with my husband for a while. He's been his assistant for over a year, right? So he's been his assistant for a while, and he's going to get his mortgage license. He's getting his CrossFit certification to be a CrossFit coach. And he is serving a mission for our church, and he will be serving the lovely people in Phoenix, Arizona, and like that area. So anyways, that's Porter's plan, and he leaves this summer, and I don't know how my heart's gonna take that because every time I think about it I get a little teary-eyed. So he teases me. When he started online school, he was the middle of 9th grade when he started at online school, and they were home but on a computer, and I cried. And I thought I was going to be one of those tough moms that was like, oh, I'm so glad my kids are out, like this is so I'm so independent now. And I'm not. So anyways, Tico always teases me like, you're going to be a mess. I'm a little worried about you. I'm like, I'm okay. I'm going to get some coaching done. I'm going to be okay. I'm just going to feel the emotion and whatnot. So people, if you're in Arizona, please be nice to my boy. He's a really nice kid. And you can call him Porter or Tico or whatever you want. He'll answer to both. At church, they said, Porter Tico Thomas got his call. So that was cute. Okay, so let's go back to Bella. Not that we don't love Porter. Okay, sis. What has been some of your favorite memories of homeschooling with your old mom?
Okay, so some of my absolute favorite memories is we had this little CD, and it just had tons of like learning songs on it, and we would sing all of the songs, and we had like choreographed dances to all of them, and I still remember like a ton of them. So if someone's like, what's the capital of Delaware, from these weird songs, I know what it is, you know. So those are my favorite, just because we would just be such weirdos, and we're just partying all the time with those songs.
Remember the bone song? And we would go up our bodies and point out our bones?
Yeah, with the little pointer stick.
Yes.
That was good.
That was a blast. Do you remember what your favorite songs were that we would sing?
Yes, so one of my favorite was the state capitals one.
Okay.
Because that one was just a classic.
The states in alphabetical order with their capitals. So started off.
We want me to sing it?
Well, just like the beginning.
Montgomery, Alabama, Juneau, Alaska. So and then
Phoenix, Arizona, Little Rock, Arkansas. Yeah.
So that one was fun.
Did you see the choreography? Those of you watching on YouTube, you will get to see a little bit. You can't sing those songs without dancing.
Exactly.
I like to think that it inspired you to get into singing.
No.
What? I thought it did.
It just added to it.
So it was so funny. Tico and Bella performed last week in a Battle of the Bands, and they're 2 different bands, and they were amazing. Totally biased, but I feel like my kids stole the show. Bella was a singer in her band. Porter played the guitar in his band. And Porter was crazy and like was playing guitar while crowd surfing, right? Bella was just amazing and a light up there. And I go, all these years of homeschooling and allowing them to just be themselves, like it's manifesting on stage right now. Like, you guys go, this is amazing. So
you're not wrong.
You want to know what's funny? And I think this is a really good lesson too, is because Bella's favorite part of our homeschool is actually Porter's least favorite part.
Oh, actually, I didn't know that.
Yes, so I asked him some of these questions beforehand, and I said, what was your least favorite part of being homeschooled? And he goes, the stupid songs you made us sing.
I love those. That's so funny.
I know, right? But like, that's why I think like you just do your best and just keep going through and have fun with it, because I don't remember Porter ever complaining about it. No, and he was a good sport, and he let me film him, and he knew all of the words and everything, and I had no idea he thought that was super dumb. So I thought that was kind of funny. So just always do be true to you, girl. Okay, sis, what do you think was your least favorite part of homeschooling? And I mean the homeschooling with me, not online school.
Yeah, no, I figured. I don't know. I feel like if there was a subject that I didn't really understand, it was difficult to get a second person's opinion or another way to get it taught. So math, for instance, is not my strong suit. And so when I was learning it, I was really stubborn about it, and I would fight it a lot. And I think it would have been nice to maybe have another person, a way they could teach me, because even with the online school that I did that I didn't like, the math teacher taught the math to me in a way that I understood. And I'm not saying you're bad at teaching math, but it's just a way that I didn't understand. And so I think maybe having a second person opinions might have been cool.
It's interesting. I know with Porter as well, math is a sore subject for him as well. And not for the ability, but he was wanting my help more. And it was interesting because I don't know if you remember, but I would say, like, reread the lesson, watch a YouTube video, then you could ask me.
Yeah.
So I put it a lot of back onto you guys. And so
Yeah.
I've often wondered if that's what you guys didn't like because you had to go research it yourself. But I don't know. I just was curious about that. Like, what part of that did you not like? Because he always was, he said the same thing. Of like, I would have loved more help at math. And maybe with the time, because when they were little, I was homeschooling 6 of them at the same time. So, like, sorry, you've got to go figure it out yourself. And so, I don't know. I think there's a beauty to that as well, of like learning out how to do something.
Yeah.
Even though it's like, it would have been really nice. And I was like, yeah, but isn't it cool you have a skill of knowing how to do things? So what I have found interesting too is interviewing you, obviously, right now, and I asked part of these questions earlier, that curriculum stuff never comes up of like favorites or...
Yeah, no.
So
I actually don't really remember the ones we did at the beginning or anything. Like,
yeah. So what would you, if you were giving people advice, like, hey, I'm going to homeschool. So say you have this mom, her kids are little, and she's like, I'm so worried about my curriculum. What would you tell her to maybe put her at ease?
You know, I'd probably say, like, as long as your kid is having fun learning, the curriculum doesn't really matter, because what's going to stick with them is the memories of having fun with you, rather than, like, actually, like, oh, this curriculum worked for me when they're, like, 7. Like, you know, just kind of relax a little bit, and as long as your kid enjoys learning, then I think that you're doing a good curriculum.
Yeah, I've said that a lot of times, that if you can just connect with your kid, you can teach them anything.
Yeah.
And I really feel that way, that I was always trying to, and I'm not perfect, but trying more to work on the relationship between my kids versus, no, you sit down, shut up, and do this work because I said so.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into some of the things like levels of liberty. Now, this will be interesting because Bella has had mixed emotions about levels of liberty, where Porter really, really likes it.
Yeah.
So it would almost make it sound better if I were interviewing Tico, because for him, it was very straightforward. I work on these habits and these skills, and I get rewarded, and I get more liberties, right? Later bedtime is more phones. Do you want to share your experience, or would you like my version?
Well, I guess, I don't know, you can share your version first, just so I can hear what you want to say.
Oh, well, so my cute Bella, she is adorable. If you're watching on YouTube, she is cute. She fought levels of liberty. I think that's a nice way to say it.
That is a good way to say it. Yeah.
And so how old were you, and you still had a bedtime?
I was 15.
She was 15.
I had a 9:15 bedtime when I was 15.
I had a 9:15 bedtime.
That was embarrassing for a really long time.
And I remember one time she was very frustrated, and I think it was at a family meeting, of like, just like, this is ridiculous. I think 9:15 bedtime is dumb, and there was something else you wanted.
I think it was like going to like a store without an adult or something.
Something like that. I can't remember exactly. I know the bedtime was really driving you crazy. And it was funny because, like, I'm looking at her just like, just do the stuff then, right? And then Porter, he's funny, and he's the one who jumped in and was like, are you kidding me, Bella?
Yeah.
All you have to do is X, Y, Z, and she's going to give it to you. You are literally choosing to not have this later bedtime. And so for Porter, it really made sense in his brain, but maybe curious of, why did you fight that?
Well, I guess it was just like, it didn't really make sense to me. I was like, if you trust me, or even like when I was really frustrated, I was like, if you love me, you would give me these things. But then
that's called manipulation.
Exactly. But then when Porter kind of not got after me, but kind of pointed out, he's like, you're the one that's making it so you have a 9:15 bedtime. Then it kind of clicked, and I feel like I've been doing pretty good ever since then. But yeah, no, at the beginning I was just like, this is ridiculous. Like, I deserve all these things.
Oh, interesting. That's awesome. So just so you know, because I think sometimes somebody asked in my coaching membership not too long ago to record our family meeting. And I always laugh because I go, it's never going to think what you think it looks like.
No.
And people always think like maybe we're skipping through the halls and holding hands, and I would like to do that with Bella. I make her cuddle with me all the time, and she loves it.
It's great.
Right? And we're having fun and we're laughing, and because we're not yelling at each other, or maybe we're not calling names, people envision this utopia in my home. But it's very real.
Mm-hmm.
Kids get frustrated, parents get frustrated. What I think I like Levels of Liberty is it's given you a platform to express your frustrations.
Yeah.
Of saying, I think it's neat that you were able to have a space to say, I think a 9:15 bedtime is stupid.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think, why do you think, and I know you still have an opportunity, but why do you feel like you didn't really rebel? Or why do you have such a good relationship with Dad and me?
So I feel like a big component of it is that because I had to work to get to the point of having all these privileges, is that you guys trust me, and I don't want to break your trust because you guys give me a lot of freedoms, and so I know when you trust me that I'm able to go and do things. And when I skip class or something, I can just come to you and say I did that, and it was Bella, you're not supposed to do that, and you talked to me about it, and you didn't get mad at me, so I know it's you're not going to get mad at me when I mess up, and you trust me, so that gives me kind of I feel like I can trust you too, and it's kind of more of an open communication rather than I'm afraid of telling you anything because you'll yell at me or whatever.
That's interesting. Do you care if I share more about that story?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So Bella just skipped seminary the other day and came home and told me and was like, this is what we went and did instead. And so I was talking to my husband and he was like, what? Why is she skipping seminary? And so he and I had a conversation first before we talked to her, and just saying, he and I talked about, it's not the end of the world. She's not going to hell. She's not breaking the law. She's not doing any of these terrible, awful things. Our thought was, though, that it was dishonest. And so I guess I just talked to you. So Dad and I talked about it first, and then, so he's gone. So here I am. But this was his opinion too. And so when I came to her, I just, what did I say?
This morning?
Yeah. And it was just hey, you skipped seminary. It's not the end of the world, but there are consequences to our choices. Right. So if you speed and you get caught, you get a ticket. Right? And so we already talked about it. There are no consequences right now. Just hey, you got a warning. This is your first time it's ever happened. We've never really talked about it before. Right. And if it happens again, here are the consequences. And then I said, is that fair? Yeah.
Then we talk about it, and you always make sure that I agree with it. We're I'm cool with it. So.
Well, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes. So I like to always ask. I asked this with Ethan too when I interviewed him last year. And will you plan on homeschooling your kids?
Yes, for sure.
And why?
If I was in a normal public school setting, I feel like I wouldn't have been able to find all the things that I'm passionate about. Because homeschool kind of gave me this place where I could kind of figure out what I liked to do and what didn't work for me. And I wasn't I don't want to say forced, but I wasn't told to do certain things, and if I wanted to research a certain subject, I could. So I was learning about the things that I was actually interested in, and then I feel like that's made me a better learner, and then I've actually enjoyed learning, and I still enjoy reading and studying and stuff, and I feel like in a normal school setting I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Yeah, I think I saw that with when you and Tico started the college online. I know Porter talked about he quit reading classical books.
Me too.
Yes, and Porter said it affected his songwriting.
Yeah.
And so he said, I have to be reading these stuff because then I'm not inspired to write.
Right.
So I know he went back. So he went back, if you haven't read The Chronicles of Prydain.
Oh, they're so good.
Would recommend. Briggy just finished it for his first time. And all the kids were I've read them 4 or 5 times. So I know Porter went back and was reading Chronicles of Prydain. What have you done to kind of spark that love for learning again?
I started to keep up my classical piano and started to learn new songs and stuff so that I could still keep that up.
That is awesome. Bella is a beautiful pianist as well. Yes, I totally wanted her to go with this amazing concert pianist who's 80 years old, and we love her, Mary.
Oh, yeah.
But Bella was I just kind of want to do it on my own. So she wants to put more of her time and energy into singing and acting and whatnot. But she plays beautifully. Absolutely beautiful. What else with homeschooling? What other advice would you say to maybe teens? I actually have coached teens before and other moms about my teen doesn't want to do work, my teen doesn't have any passion. So what would you say to a mom who's worrying about what her teen is doing or not doing?
I would honestly say relax a little bit and just kind of like, if they aren't finding a passion for anything, I think trying to help them to figure that out and not being pushy or not forcing things on them, because I personally hate being told what to do.
It's true.
And so when someone will sit and tell me, you need to do this or you need to have a passion for this, I just want to say, like, heck it all. Like, I don't want to do any of it. Excuse my language. No, but just, like, to relax a little bit and, like, obviously still help your teen and support them, but, like, you know, kind of chill a little bit.
I have found what parents sometimes do with their teens is, like, I think I've given some of that same advice, but then their kid can just be on their phone the whole time or playing video games the whole time.
Right.
So, like, I think there's a balance with those things.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So if your teen isn't motivated, I think looking at the whole situation, like, what are they motivated to do? Okay, is there a way that you can help them with that motivation to play a video game? Like, awesome, video games are on Thursday if you've done these things, right? And I think everything can be solved. Any system can be created, anything like that. Oh, here's another question I just thought of.
Yeah.
Would you want to incorporate levels of liberty into your own family?
That's an interesting question, actually. So I feel like I would want a system. The thing is just... So... Yeah, no, probably something like levels of liberty, just so that you can have, because our house really just runs like clockwork, and we all know what's like expected of us and what we're supposed to do, and when those aren't met, then we have consequences, and so it makes sense. It's laid out there, just like.
I'm wondering too if like your 16-year-old brain is like, that seems stupid, because sometimes I'm angry about it.
Sometimes it's the worst. So, I mean. Using my adult eyes that I don't have yet, but I think it actually is really beneficial and is really helpful.
Yes,
so
I know.
I would probably do something similar.
Yes, I know Tico is very pro.
Yeah.
And to him it was very easy. Like, I want these things, I do these things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what Porter said that was really interesting is because I asked him, who was it? Somebody bought a calendar who lived by me, so I was just giving it to them, so they came to the house to come grab it. And they asked my kids, do you love levels of liberty? And I thought, oh my goodness, I've never asked my children this question. I was like, what are we going to say here? And
what's going to happen?
Yes, and Porter goes, well, yeah, not really, but yes, and I'll probably do it because our family can solve any problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a lot of beauty in that.
Yeah.
Because there are always things that pop up.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
People crash cars.
Hey, that's a little personal still.
Well, you're not the only one. Your brothers did too.
True.
But things pop up. Teasing or meals or, like, even recently we had in family meeting, we didn't know, Bella wasn't sweeping before she was leaving to work early in the morning. So we're like, Bella, you're not getting your chores done. And she said, yes, I am. But people kept sleeping in the room that she cleans. And so she goes, but I won't turn on the light because people are sleeping. So we're like, oh, that makes more sense. So how many times have I said in, like, my parenting classes with the membership, like, always get a full picture because we don't always know the full story. So if I would have come out at Bella like, oh my goodness, this is ridiculous because our rule is you have to get your chores done in order to get your phone. Mm-hmm. And so if Bella's taken her phone and I'm like, this room's a mess, sis, like, this is a joke. And if I came and yelled at her and got mad at her, that's going to give me a very different result than I probably want. But what we did, Bella gave us this understanding, like, well, I don't turn the light on because people are asleep. So we just said, if Dad's asleep in there, it's because the dog got out. And so he went and slept by the dog in the room, right? And I don't remember what you do with Dad.
I think we just said let him sleep.
Okay, with Dad we said let him sleep because it was Dad trying to be nice to not wake me back up. Mm-hmm. But Porter has been choosing to sleep up there, and we said turn on the lights.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to choose to sleep up there and it affects Bella's ability to clean up, then, like, she's going to just turn the lights on. Mm-hmm. Put a blanket over your face, do whatever you want, but she's got to turn on the lights.
Right.
So I think that's what I love about the way our family culture is, and we've just been using Homeschool to supplement all those things.
Right, yeah.
Right, and so I call it the Successful Six, but, like, you've had to read financial books for school.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And books on emotions or your mental, right, of trying to be a better person and all those things. Mm-hmm. Physical, we live more of a culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, like, CrossFit and you like hiking.
And eating healthy, too.
Yes, and it's like Bella really tries to be healthy, washing your own clothes and hygiene, cooking for the family, all that stuff. socially, we've read books on like how to win friends and influence people and how to serve and doing service as a family. Then spiritually, we've maybe scriptures are part of our school, but then also other books.
Right.
Okay, so let's just say, like, what has been your favorite read aloud that we ever did?
Moon Over Manifest. That was one of the most
one.
beautiful books. That one actually like made us cry.
I cried hard in that one.
Yeah, and then my second favorite was Ivanhoe.
Which was funny because when I read Ivanhoe, that was really challenging. Because people were like crazy.
No one wanted to listen, but I was just...
But then after we finished it, everybody was like, that book was amazing. I was like, really?
Yeah.
Well, why was this a circus the whole time I read it?
Yeah, no, that one was really good too.
And what was your favorite book you personally read? Do you have a favorite?
I don't know if I have a favorite. I just enjoyed... Oh, actually, I really like Essentialism. That was one of my favorites.
I do like Essentialism.
That one was really good. But just like, there's a whole genre of those books that I really liked, so kind of just all of them were good. I liked a lot of them.
What was your least favorite read aloud? Did you have a least favorite read aloud? Or anything with Mom was great?
I don't think I had a least favorite.
I was going to say, I tried to be really good to pick awesome books.
Just hair flip.
No. But like I would read other blogs and other things and research it. Like these are winners.
Yeah, I don't think there was one that I was like, I could have lived my life without reading that.
Ivanhoe was the one that was the hardest to get through with Peachel's attention span. But I just read that one like very slowly. Of just a page. Okay, we did it. And so that one just took us longer to get through.
Yeah.
Favorite subject you studied?
I don't know. I kind of liked the just like the how to win friends and influence people type books. Kind of. I don't know if you would. Books? Yeah, and I think it's just interesting because of like psychology and stuff. I just think it's interesting how people's brains work. So those were always really interesting to me. Okay,
last question. What is it like having the coolest mom, but who's a life coach? What is it like having a mom who's a life coach?
It's actually really helpful because when I know that my emotions can be a little bit crazy sometimes, and so it's kind of nice to have a mom that I can tell stuff to, and from a neutral perspective, she can say, like, here's where you're being a silly goose, and here's, like, what you're doing right, you know? And so it's actually been kind of nice just because if I have an emotional problem, I can just go to her and be like, help me out, and she always does.
Yes, and I always ask, do you want me to be mom or coach?
Yeah, and I usually prefer coach.
Yes, and then she says mom, then it's like, oh, I'm sorry, honey.
Pat your head.
You're so pretty. Right? So mom shows up a little bit differently than coach. But we've had some cool coaching sessions.
Yeah, we have.
So that's kind of fun. Total plug, but in lifetime membership, I do coach teens with your membership. I've actually not only coached my own kids, whether they wanted it or not, but I've got to coach their friends and then other people, obviously, within the membership. So that's been really fun because I had her girlfriend come over maybe a couple months ago, and she was like, I need some help, and I'm totally stuck. Can you coach me? And I was like, I'd love to. So lifetime membership is closing its door the end of May at this price. And then it won't be available till I don't know when, but it will be a higher price for sure. So if you have been thinking about this for yourself, for your teen, you are not going to want to miss this opportunity because
it's pretty awesome.
It is pretty awesome. So my Bella, I love you. Thank you for being on here. What do you think Porter would say his favorite books have been? Oh, I know Porter's favorite book.
What was it?
The Louis L'Amour. Last of the Breed?
Yeah, Last of the Breed.
Something like that. That's Porter's favorite book.
Yeah.
Do you know his favorite read aloud?
I don't know if he really enjoyed the read alouds as much.
I know he loved Penrod.
Okay, yeah. Oh, I forgot about Penrod. That was another
Penrod
one.
was written in early 1900s, so I read that one aloud because it does have the N-word in there, so I would just always skip that word, and I would maybe change it, or just like The Boys Next Door, or something like that. But that book is hilarious. That was a good one. I think Porter liked that one. And then what do you think Porter's favorite subject? Oh, I know his favorite subject, too. Sorry.
Seems like you already know all the answer to
Do you know?
No.
Economics.
Oh, yeah.
He studied a ton of economic books. And then math he was also equally as frustrated. But I think you two were the most frustrated with math.
Yeah. I think the rest of the kids were able to get through it, but for some reason we were kind of angry about it.
Yeah. Okay. Any last tips or things you want to leave with and say?
I think just homeschooling lets kids find their passion, so it is good, and I really like it.
Awesome. All right, friends. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next week.